BFM 89.9, I'm Audrey Raj with your World Cup Quickie. 2 of the last 16 ties have been confirmed. Brazil will take on Chile and Holland play Mexico. Brazil topped Group A with a 4-1 win over Cameroon. Neymar scored a brace. Fred is finally on the score sheet and Fernandinho was on the scoreboard as well. They will take on Group B runners-up Chile, who fell to a 2-0 defeat to Holland this morning. I mean, everyone's been watching Neymar, Messi and Ronaldo, but I think Arjen Robben is totally stealing the show. Holland, of course, will take on Mexico after they dumped Croatia out of the tournament 3-1. And Spain have bowed out of the World Cup. Finally, with a win, they beat Australia 3-0. And the losers, well, they still go home. We'll learn the matchups of 2 more last 16 ties tonight as Colombia play Japan and Ivory Coast take on Greece in Group C, while Italy play Uruguay in Group D and Costa Rica take on England. From one sleep-deprived person to another, here's Lynn.
High five, Audrey Raj. Yay for sleep deprivation. Good morning, everyone else. It is Tuesday, June 24th, 2014, and these are your morning headlines. The papers! The papers today are full of decisions as well as neglect. Let's get started with the Malay Mail. I love this front page, and I almost never say that, but I really do. Time to move on. This is a story of the federal court finding that the Herald has no right to use Allah in the Malay section of its paper, and World Cup cheers and tears featuring Cristiano Ronaldo looking dejected because, you know what, Portugal, seriously. But I really enjoyed the juxtaposition between time to move on and Ronaldo looking sad. Very clever, despite the fact that there is a word misspelled on the page itself, which is over here. Let's just make a test of it. Put it in the comments if you see it. The Sun have also gone with Allah ban stays, with that right there, Allah just for Muslim. And we have the New Straits Times following the Malay Mail tip, going with the World Cup coverage as well as the story of the Herald. Continuing on a slightly religious bent, the Star have gone with something that no one else is really covering, militants in our midst, or rather people are covering but nobody else chose to put on their front page, especially with such an arresting image. And they're just saying that there could be militants training in Malaysia, and you know what, they're not going to Iraq, they could be plotting to take down our government. Very James Bond. And Utusan Malaysia, oh, too big. Too big, that's what she said. Utusan Malaysia, yet again, World Cup up here. Federal court story over here. The ongoing coverage of diesel embezzlement here. And up here, a truly depressing story of Firdaus, the 15-year-old boy discovered in a terrible state in Seremban, and the story of what's happening to him. Just because this is really weird and because the rest of the papers are going to be incredibly depressing, I thought we could go with a little bit of a mention of the eye candy and the Sultan of Johor. And Berita Harian continuing the stretch, looking at the federal court decision and, you know, going with the headline of how it went 4 against 3. And over here, ongoing coverage of the boy. They haven't gone with him on the front page, but Sinar Harian as well as Harian Metro do. It's just really, really harrowing coverage. Those are the 3 words that the boy knows how to say at this point in time. He's 15 and he weighed 15 kilos when the hospital took him in. So they're looking at what can be done for him. It's just a really, really terrible image to put on the front page, but for once I'm not dinging them for it because I think it's an important message to have that we should be taking care of our nation's children. And, you know, as usual, Harian Metro have a really crowded front page. If you'd like to read more, I'm not going to cover it, but if you'd like to read more about a husband believing that a jubah is a clothing item of passion, then pick up the paper. And my phrase of the day comes courtesy of my favorite front page, the Malay Mail. Time to move on. Move on. At this point, I think there's really nothing left to be said about the Allah decision except to go back and forth on it, but the federal court have found what they found. So, you know what? Papers of Malaysia, time to move on. And that is it from me, Lynn. This has been BFM's Morning Headlines, BFM 89.9.